There are very few games in which you can honestly say that the biggest element limiting you from success is your own imagination. Scribblenauts is an entirely open-ended puzzle game, allowing you to summon tens of thousands of different objects to help you reach the end of every level. It's a crazy concept, but it works really well for the most part. The nearly unlimited vocabulary is staggering, giving you access to all sorts of animals, kitchen appliances, weapons, food, and just about any other object you can think of. And it's a blast just calling forth these creations and seeing how they react to each other. Once you get into the heart of the game, though, some problems become apparent. The controls lack precision, levels often don't force you to be creative, and the game frequently ignores real-world logic. However, while Scribblenauts doesn't quite reach its potential, it's so original and fun, it's possible to look past these problems and enjoy a timeless fight between Man, Bear, Pig, and Ra. The goal of every level in Scribblenauts is to nab a starite. In action levels, a starite is located somewhere within the stage, and you must traverse the environment, crossing lava pits and battling kraken, to nab the special prize. In puzzle levels, you have to complete a specific task, such as giving Santa something he doesn't already have, he seems to fancy a carton of malted milk, or figure out which of 4 identical-looking construction workers is an imposter. Trying to think of ludicrous ways to complete these objectives is awesome. In one early level, a butterfly hovers tauntingly over your head and you must somehow corral it. If you want to just finish your task and move quickly on, you can summon a butterfly net and nab the insect without any flair. But you can also be silly and see how that flying bug reacts to a pterodactyl, or glue a safe to a boulder and climb up to grab it with your own hands. A lot of the fun in Scribblenauts comes from trying the most outlandish ideas that pop in your head. If dinosaurs are troubling you, just create a meteor and wipe out the entire species. Why ride a horse when Cthulhu is just a few button taps away, as long as you remember to put saddle on him and blast him with a mind control device first? The problem is, all too often levels don't force you to use your noggin. There's very little motivating you to push your right brain, so it's easy to fall into the trap of strapping on a pair of wings to get around, a ferocious animal to kill all who oppose you, and move on to the next challenge without any thought. There are special medals for passing levels in a specific way, such as not using weapons or riding animals, but the levels are often so open-ended, it can be difficult to push past the mundane and come up with a truly special solution. Another problem with Scribblenauts is the objectives are not always clear. For instance, in one level, you must bribe 3 aliens with presents in order to get the precious minerals they are protecting. The problem is, when you try to hand these rocks over to your astronaut friend, like the before level hint suggests, you end up tossing it in his face, causing him to pout in the spaceship. Other times, you can pass levels for no logical reason. In one water-themed level, you have to rescue a man stranded on an island. For some inexplicable reason, by just giving him kulurukai, a Greek dessert, you earn the starite. These baffling occurrences aren't too frequent, but when you finally complete a level that was giving you a hard time with such an illogical solution, it puts a damper on the ridiculous fun. Just about everything in Scribblenauts is controlled using the Stylus, which opens up the door for a few problems. In many levels, securing a rope to an object or animal is one of the most efficient ways to complete the objective. But attaching this tether is finicky, requiring you to tap a tiny portion of the screen to get it to latch on. Moving yourself around levels, either on foot or in a vehicle, works well since you need only tap a specific spot and watch your character move to it. However, it's way too easy to accidentally tap the screen and watch in horror as Maxwell dashes into a pit of lava or into the gaping maw of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. With a little patience, you can overcome these small problems, but it will lead to more than a few unexpected deaths along the way. There's a lot of content in Scribblenauts. There are over 200 levels to plow through. In some early levels, such as one where you have to knock down bottles at a fair, you can just summon a few different types of balls and get a gold star the easy way. But in many levels, you'll have to totally rethink your method, which is fun to do. There's also a level editor in which you can change the attributes of the many objects. making your carnivore as docile as a baby, but a worm the most feared enemy around. And you can share these levels with friends either locally or online. Scribblenauts never quite reaches its lofty aspirations, but it's a blast despite its problems. The logic issues crop up too often, forcing you to restart levels until you figure out exactly what must be done, and the control quirks will hound you through the whole game. But the core concept is so fun, it's easy to lose yourself in this crazy puzzle games for hours, conjuring everything from fanciful mythical beasts to mundane school supplies, and seeing how you can use them to solve the many puzzles. The unprecedented originality in Scribblenauts makes it a great experience despite a few noticeable issues.